Well, we're here, as we were talking a little bit ago, this little block that we're in right now is Jackson Clone Sauvignon Blanc. And, it's planted at a 3-foot by 9-foot density, which gives us somewhere in the neighborhood of about 4,000 plants per hectare, or about 1,600 plants per acre. We have a couple of different clones of Sauvignon Blanc, and, we love the way they blend together, the way we harvest them all together. I think there's nobody that can make a Sauvignon Blanc quite like this one. I'm not saying it's better than anyone else's. I'm just saying that it's different.
And how long have you been planting grapes in this area?
Well, the first grapes were planted, Andy, in 1977. And, this is third generation land for me. My grandfather farmed here and my dad farmed here. And, when the mid 70s were coming around, I kind of asked my father if he'd have any objection if I kind of explored wine grapes and wine growing. And so the very first varieties that went in out here were Chardonnay. And we planted those in 1977.
And that was half a decade before you started making wine professionally.
Yeah, I was making a little homemade wine and helping Gary, and we were kind of hanging out and so forth. But the winery started in 1981. So this Chardonnay, though, actually is about 35 years old now. Wow. So making fabulous wine, though. If we don't crop it too heavily and about 2 ton per acre, it's quite impressive.
What's your total acreage up here?
About 42 acres, and of course, we had a devastating freeze in November. And anything between about 600 feet or 200 meters for us is just clearly a location that's just too low. I mean, it's too cold out here. So what we're doing currently is bringing in some new plants. We're doing some new planting, and we're relocating some of our water up to higher ground. So we're going to try to be up above anything that goes in now from here on out is going to be above 800 feet.
And we're pretty much at the northern edge of the Appalachian.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there is a little bit further west that there is one more vineyard further west. Ash Hollow's further west than we are. We're higher than they are. But, as far as this area, we're in the northwest point, or it's kind of more of a triangular appellation, but we're in the more in the northwest portion of the Walla Valley appellation.
Okay. And behind us is Woodward Canyon.
Yeah. Yep. I used to ride the school bus down here. But it's a wonderful place. I mean, the prevailing winds kind of do tend to come right up over this big hillside over there. It's an extension of the Horseheaven Hill range, actually. And, of course, that's exactly why all those big wind turbines are up there.
Right.
But the exposure here is wonderful. Sauvignon Blanc, in this particular case, loves it right here. I mean, this is just a wonderful place. We get maybe 1.5 kilo per plant, which is about 2 to 3 pounds. Makes nice wine.
We're in the early stages of bud breaking. You're getting some nice surprises.
Yeah. When I came out here shortly, in the winter, I was cutting buds, and I was finding no live buds, or not a lot. And it was cold then, and of course I was kind of depressed, and I wasn't expecting there was going to be much. Well, as spring came, and I like what Marcus Keller said over at WSU, that if you don't need to cut this stuff off right now, and you can take some time, that you consider that and just wait and watch the plants and just wait and be patient. Sometimes that's hard to do for farmers. And so that's pretty much what we did. But, what we're seeing right now, Andy, is I think probably we're going to get close to it. I think we can prune. And if we have to thin it off a little bit afterwards, we can do that. But looks like we'll get almost a full crop off of Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, and Cabernet Franc. So I'm pretty enthused because I did not budget for that. So I'm pretty enthused.
It's a lot easier to thin later than to actually glue the plants back on.
Well, yeah. If a lot of people, I think, if you didn't go out and do a lot of bud cutting later on, and then really look see where everything is pushing, because you get stuff pushing in different locations depending on the spur, and if you got in there and went just by the book and just pruned for 2 bud spurs, it'd be easy to cut off a lot of the live shoots or live buds that are up further out on the cane and leave dead ones down near the cordon. So I think this is a case where being patient, kind of trying to just be thoughtful, and just supervising a little bit and watching. I was out here a lot with the guys. I mean, everybody who's been here, I've got second generation people out here that have worked. Their parents worked out here, the Hispanic people, and they're fabulous. They're just absolutely fabulous. So they know what to do. So basically, I just come out here and kind of tell them what to look for and what to watch for and what to be sensitive about, and then I get out of their way. and let him do it.
Speaking of getting out of the way, people think of Rick Small as the winemaker at Woodward Canyon, but that's not quite the truth.
No, that's not true at all. And in 2003, Kevin Mott came over. Had been at Canoe Ridge, a really good friend anyway, long before, and we knew each other back from the days when he still was working at St. Chapelle down in the Boise, the Caldwell area down there in Idaho. And anyway, when he came over, basically at that point, I said, "Look, you're the winemaker. That'll give me an opportunity to spend more time trying to run this company and spend more time out here developing vineyard and working on clones and rootstock and trying to grow better fruit and trying to make better fruit and make better grapes so that I can send that down to the winery, and then Kevin and his team can manufacture and make it into wine." And that's served us well. That's been a good process. But Kevin is the winemaker. Some people still refer to Rick Small as the winemaker. My title is director of production. I'm a co-owner, but I'm not the winemaker anymore. Kevin, it's his ship to sail, and he does it beautifully.
You don't just get grapes from here. You have you're part of the Shampoo group. Is that
absolutely,
right?
And that's been a kind of a tough story down there this year too, because Shampoo got hurt pretty badly in this winter injury phase that we went through in November as well. But yeah, we use Sagemore. We've used Sagemore since 1981. I have history going back to both of those wonderful vineyards, Sagemore and Shampoo, and there's still no way that I can make a Cabernet that's like old vines if I don't use grapes from those kind of places. That the grapevines were planted in the early 70s. I mean, we're now into 2011. I mean, these vines are approaching 40 years of age. I mean, that's wonderful to have grapevines that old. I'm concerned a little bit about some of the health of some of these older vines, because some of this stuff has leaf roll, and some of it they were the early clones. I mean, like we were talking earlier, I mean, a lot of these early original clones that came in are 50-year-old material. I mean, Davis had it, they sent it up, our nurseries had it, we all got it as growers, and that's one of the things that's exciting about going to all this new on-top material. And so one of the real positives about this freeze is that it's giving us an opportunity to pull out some vines, even though they're 15 years old, and put in better material. We need to do it. We have to do it. It's going to be the only way we're going to keep on making better wine. So we got to do it.
You have a second label called Nelms Road,
yep.
And we just found out Nelms Road is actually just over the hill here.
Yeah, we're going to run over there in a minute just so you can kind of see it. But when I was in grade school, the bus that I rode was always referred to as the Woodward Canyon bus, and it was a small group of kids that lived up in this canyon. But the real interesting thing is that Nelms Road and Woodward Canyon kind of collide together. They both drain into the same canyon, and then Nelms Road runs in from the north, and Woodward Canyon kind of runs towards the west, and then comes down, and they run out down to the Walla River. And it's a great ridge up here, though, at about 850, 900 feet. This is the safest place. And during wind machine time the other night, I was out running wind machines, and at about 3 o'clock in the morning or 2:30, right on the very ridge top, there's all this nice little gentle breeze. I've got wind machines running in the canyons and in the draws, but up on top, there's a little gentle breeze, just enough to move air, and that's fabulous. So all the growth and all the expansion of Woodward Canyon moving forward as far as vineyards is going to be right up here. Yeah, nothing down low anymore.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Rick, well, thanks for your time.
Andy, my pleasure. Anytime. Thanks.